Go.
Hello and welcome to Meal Prepping with Pam and Amy. Well, mostly Amy. Today we're going to be cooking jerk Caribbean chicken with rice, cauliflower rice, kale and cherry salad with roasted chicken, and butternut turkey chili. So,
good job!
Thank you!
Hi guys, welcome. It's a sunny day out. Just skip right into the kitchen for a few hours and then you think the rest of the week you get to play in the sun in the afternoons. Today we're going to start with some chicken. We've got 5 breasts. I know in the recipes I said you could get some thighs or breasts. So for the jerk chicken, we're going to cut these into kind of nice sized pieces and pull them over. I'm going to choose the larger breasts, 2 of them. There's 1 and 2 to roast for our kale salads. Maybe a little sliver of another one, like this. We're going to have lots of salads. So for the jerk chicken, let's get this trimmed a little bit. I'm going to cut these into kind of nice portion sizes. And there you go. I already made the marinade for this. So this has to marinate for 30 minutes. So if you've done that, or if you're cooking now, get that marinade going. It's really simple, just all the ingredients in there. And we're gonna do this. If you're gonna do it overnight, it's really easy to put it into a bag and let it sit in the refrigerator. It says for at least 30 minutes. Overnight, of course, is always just gonna be a little bit yummier. So even if this is the only thing you're doing right now is making your marinade and getting it on your chicken, you should go for it. Get this all spread around. And you know what? I'm a hand person, so here we go. That's how to cover it and feel it and know it. Such bravery to put chicken. I could never do this 10 years ago. So if you're a little squeamish about it, just go for it. It's fun. All right, be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands. There's my towel. All right, the chicken here is just gonna go into the oven. We're gonna roast it easy peasy. Set that for 25 minutes. So in meal prepping, what you want to think about is what has to cook first, what has to marinate, and get your meats done, get your veggies washed and out of the way, and then you can start on your meats. In my book, I have all these steps written out, and you can check them off, and it's going to be awesome. So if you haven't already, please take a look at, we're pre-selling it right now for $10. If you want to support us, that's super awesome. And once we get it published, which it's coming, I'm working on it, it should be within the next week, then we're going to put it on Amazon and it will be $15. So if you want to get in on the pre-sale, now's the time, and we're going to put the link down below. So we're going to set this aside so we can cook it in a bit. And I'm going to head over to the veggies. You going to follow me, Pam?
Yep.
All right. Oops. I need to wash this really quick. There. Clean knife to our veggie station. So we're making butternut squash chili. So there's no beans, it's just butternut squash. And I'm going to show you a trick for cutting this baby up. I already started with one, because we only found 2 little ones. But you cut off both ends. Okay, it's a little rough. Cut down right where you think the seeds are going to start, like that. This gives us some flat. Then I'm going to cut half of this, like that. Then you have something that's not rolling around, and you can cut like this. Little bits off, all the way around. You can also use a peeler, whatever you're more comfortable with. As you're cutting, you're going to get some orange stuff on your hands. It's amazing, the coloration that happens. And if any of you dyed eggs this last week, you could have used this for your orange. Super cool. So we'll get this really quick. pot to work so your vegetables aren't running away is very important. So I'm going to cut that in maybe thirds and do some nice cubes. You kind of want some uneven cubes here. Some of them are going to mash up completely and it makes it nice and thick, and some of them will stay whole, bigger ones. So something like this. So you have a variety going there. Then this one, turn upside down. Oh, another thing we were trying to do to make these just a little bit more manageable is Pam and I have started a YouTube channel called How To with Pam and Amy. And it's where you'll find things like we're going to be adding how to chop certain vegetables. We are going to be adding how to do the cauliflower rice from a head of cauliflower. That will be on there pretty soon because that goes with today's meal. So to save time in the actual video, we've done that. So when you see stuff in the recipes that's a veggie prep, I will start noting if you can find how to do that on our YouTube channel. All right, then we cut this in half. Grab a spoon. Or an ice cream scoop works also. But just dig her out. And away you go. Now I noticed the fan on the oven just turned on. If that makes things loud, let us know. Today when I was picking out my apron, I get, not made fun of, but questioned a lot. How many do I actually have? So today I counted. I have 20. And that doesn't include the 2 I have in my box in the car. So I guess I have 22. But that's why I can wear a different apron all the time. Because if I'm wearing one of these every day, it's like, would you wear the same shirt every day? We can now that we're all in quarantine. But for the most part, it's a good idea to have some variety. And you all know I love to wear mostly black, but I find my aprons are very colorful. So it makes it fun. And I have them for every season. And
that one's from Italy.
Yeah, a perfect gift for me always, my friends know, is an apron from a different place. So Pam actually brought this back to me last year from the Amalfi Coast in Italy.
With a hat.
Yes, I have a hat here. With the Italian flag on it. So.
I put the link for our YouTube and book under this video.
Awesome. Thank you. And you guys that have purchased the book already, thank you so much for supporting us. This is what we're doing for the moment, and it's a lot of fun. That in there. So for the chili, it's going to be pretty fun and easy. If you've all bought the Ninja, we're going to be using that to chop our mushrooms, because a lot of people don't like to see mushrooms, but they're very savory and they add great flavor to the chili. It's my way of hiding them. We're going to chop them up fine. And sometimes I find the Ninja does really well with an onion that's older that you don't want to have to chop manually and slowly and makes you cry. So this does really good. Let's make sure that reaches. Okay, I already chopped the onion a little bit. The key with the Ninja is sharp edges so that the blade inside can catch. So we're going to put about half of that in there. There's my lid. Just give it a couple whirls. And that's make some space for the rest. Throw that in there. Big chunks, then make them big chunks. Alrighty. Who has a Ninja and has been using it and like it? Super fun. Alright, next we're going to do mushrooms. I've got most of them chopped, but I wanted to show you that I usually push out the stem And you can throw that in there and then break this into quarters like that. And that gives you your perfect edges. So no knife needed, just go like that. When you're doing this kind of softer stuff, you want to make sure that the Ninja's never more than about 2/3 full, or it will just mush at the bottom and not be chopped on top. That also goes for if you're using a full-size food processor, like the KitchenAid or the Cuisinart. There we go. I'm just going to put that in with the onions. Always make sure to put the blade back in. So many times you'll be working away and you realize you filled it without that. It's rather obnoxious. Okay, I kind of overfilled it a little bit. Let's see what happens. I still did okay. Just playing with it. All right. These two things I'm going to take back over to the stove and get our chili started. Yummy stuff. We've got this, and let's go this way. Dutch oven. We're going to end up putting this into the oven after the chicken is done. So the process of putting 3 meals together at the same time, you want to think of what has to marinate, what needs to cook the longest, what might need, and also think about the oven and the timing of that. So we threw the chicken in really quick. That should be done in time for once I've sauteed the onions and mushrooms and the meat and that process. So that should take about 25 minutes to get accomplished, and then we can switch things out of the oven. So that's my thought process on that. I need to grab the oil. Alrighty. Here's my lovely middle one. I'm going to put this on medium-high, and for the chili, we're going to be using ancho chili pepper, cumin, a bit of granulated garlic, and should I use one of your special ones? For the purposes of this recipe, we're just going to use these 3. This Thursday, because our menu next week is going to have some fajitas in it, I'm going to show you how to put together a fajita mix from loose spices that you can store in your cupboard, and it's much better for you than having a pre-done one because they tend to add extra stuff for non-clumping and things like that because sometimes they sit on the shelves for a long time. So this is a much better version for you, and I'm happy to share it. All right, let's get some oil. Nice and hot. Chicken.
Shannon loves fajitas.
All right, Shannon Hernandez. Well, she doesn't eat chicken in them. So, what do you put in your fajitas? I know onions, peppers. You could do some zucchini, asparagus, anything crunchy that you half cook would be really yummy, I think, with the fajita mix on there. So, it's pretty fun.
I know she does tofu, so maybe she adds tofu in there.
You do a tofu in that. The thing about cast iron is it takes a little while to get heated up. So we'll wait. And I'll put a little bit in this here when it's getting sauteed. In the meantime, we can open our turkey. There we go. Now, Shannon's been posting some amazing recipes. I think we need to try the taco one that you just did, because that looks good. It was like a taco casserole. That's super yummy. Go on this, and we've got our chicken going. Oh, look, I even have time to relax. For just a minute. This maybe gets hot.
Oh yeah, there's a shortage on tofu. Just a lot of veggies.
Oh, that's crazy. Lots and lots of veggies.
This soup can be vegan easily.
Yes. You just do the mushrooms and onions, and you do the butternut squash and the chili and the spices, and you're good to go. And you could add beans. That might change it a little bit, but I think a black bean might be nice in that. Okay. Well, this is starting to sizzle. I know that there are amounts on your recipe, so don't mind me, but I'm gonna eyeball it. The thing about this chili is I will keep adding spices to it even as it's gone into the oven, and I pull it out to stir with the butternut squash until it smells flavorful. You want to smell the spices. That's what makes it yummy. I'm going to try not to make it too hot for us, because that's what I did. Well, not last time. A couple times ago I made it way too hot.
We used the wrong chili.
The onions are strong.
Shannon's coming to cook with us. You coming to Oregon?
Yes! That would be so awesome. We should meet somewhere sunny though and cook together. Why come to Oregon? Although the next few months are going to be beautiful. It's our summertime. Just, ooh, Shannon, I can come cook for your retreats.
All vegan show.
Fine, we do it. We can do it. One of my clients, he is vegan and she is not. So I make meals and her meat separately, so she just adds to the meat. So they can both eat the meal and then she has her meat on the side. And she did try to go vegan, but it wasn't healthy for her. So she went back to it. But it can always be done. All right, this is smelling pretty good. I'm gonna throw in our meat without all the juices.
I have a few clients that use the Beyond Meat, so they add that too.
I like the turkey in this chili because it's not overpowering as far as compared to a beef, and it's soft on the palate, so it really soaks up the flavors, and you get the flavor of the butternut squash, and the chili is really yummy. So, gonna let that brown. Our marinade is going good. Let's walk over for a minute and do a little bit more chopping.
Shannon wants a vegan chef in Hawaii, so we both have to come.
She's my sous chef, and she's very good. So yes, my assistant. We will want that. Okay. For the jerk chicken, we need some green onions. I like to cut off this end, get rid of anything that's kind of slimy as far as the greens go. Oops. Throw that. And then you can chop it back to where you see might be a little bit soft. But that's easy. Run away. There's our onions.
retreats in August. Hopefully we're out of lockdown by then.
We will be. We will be. We're there. Time and place. We'll get there. So the jerk chicken is actually a recipe that Pam found, and I changed it to be more meal prep friendly, but I'm still a little bit curious. Do you want the, let's see, do you want the veggies kind of crispy in it or soft?
Yeah, because we always reheat it.
Yeah, crispy. Okay, so we can put all this together. I feel like things are getting a little bit easier to find in the grocery stores now. How is it in New York?
She had to leave.
Oh. Okay. No big deal. I know Seattle, it was bad a couple weeks ago and it's gotten better. We're like 2 weeks behind them. So I'm hoping things are getting better. Okay. We've got green onion, and we'll get our coconut milk over there in a minute. Now we also need, for our kale salads, I'm going to check on the meat. For our kale salads, we'll do the kale real easy. It's best if you wash it and then set it up like this so the water drains out. Okay? And then when you're going to devein it, just pull off one side and the other, and voila. And then you want it to sit for a few minutes more to just kind of dry out as best as it can. This one's fairly flatly, so it's fairly dry and good. Sometimes when they're really super curly, you gotta let them sit a little bit longer. If they're too wet, then it molds. If it's too dry, then it goes all dry and weird. So it's just figuring out that balance is very good. A lot of people don't like kale raw. This Italian kale is very nice. It's dark, so if you don't like a dark, strong green, it's not for you. You can also make this salad with spinach, but this I will devein it and then we will cut it really thin, almost like if I was making my coleslaw with it, so that it's not super big pieces to chew and get yucky in your mouth. So let's head back over to the meat. Starting to smell like chili. Okay, about half cooked. I'm gonna grab the salt, and pepper. You can be pretty liberal with salt and pepper because the meat is dense, mushrooms are dense, and then the butternut squash is dense. So starting to smell good. Okay, it's about 3/4 cooked. I'm going to throw this in. I'm going to turn off the heat here. Mix it in a bit. let it sit. Take it off the heat for a minute, and while we wait for the chicken to be done. It's going to release some liquids, and before I stick it in the oven, though, I'm going to check and see if there's a bit on the bottom. We want to be able to have some fluid in there. If it doesn't, I'll be adding the chicken stock, which is on the recipe. So take a look at that in just a moment. And then we're going to be doing jerk chicken. And I don't need any of these spices anymore. Ta-da! One thing we were looking at today was Penzeys. That's where I get all my large amounts of spices. It's really great, but we're finding they don't have the large amounts available anymore. Are we twisting?
Yes.
We're having a little bit of camera difficulty. Can you reach it? There we go.
We're trying to do it at a better angle today.
There you go. Yes, better angle. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know how we can improve this. We're always looking for how we can do this. We want to help and support you in the kitchen the best we can. Let us know how we can do that. I'm very confident that the Meal Prep Made Easy will be an awesome guide for you guys to take a look at. And all these tips and tricks that I'm always spitting out during these videos will be in written form that you can look at and comprehend, and instead of trying to memorize what I'm doing. So that's set. Let's look at our chicken. Oh, almost perfect. Take the timer off. Timer. Nope. There. 5 more minutes on the chicken will be good. Then we're going to throw this in there. And we've been almost half an hour with the chicken for marinating. So we'll have this to go. Next, cauliflower rice from a whole head of cauliflower. Find us on YouTube for figuring out how to do that. And this, once it's grated up like this, will keep for about a week or longer. It just does get smelly, so double bag it, double container it, because you know how like broccoli and this stuff gets smelly. But other than that, you could do this and just have a big bowl of it ready for preparing and all things. You can also put it in a scramble. I love making like a rice pilaf with it instead, and you can put cranberries and almonds in it with a touch of balsamic is really good. You could go more savory with onions and peppers, some of my fajita mix sauce to make it more Mexican style, a little bit of tomato paste. Anything that you can make with rice, you can switch up and put the cauliflower in. The stuff that is frozen or pre-prepped is a little bit mushier, and then the stuff that you make from scratch holds its crispiness better. So if you like the texture of the crispy, go ahead and try to do it with a whole head of cauliflower. So there's that. I'm waving my list. What does everybody think of this list? In my ebook, I'm going to tell you how to fill this out by looking at different recipes and how to make it make sense and get through your shopping and your store very quickly. So there we go. We're half an hour, guys. This is awesome. Let's come back here for a moment while we're waiting on that. That's got 4 minutes. And we're going to chop our apples for the salad. I love this salad. It is super yummy and fresh. And all of these ingredients can be kept separate so that when you're ready to actually make the salad, it can go together. Or I container this one pretty easily with, and it will keep for a week. You just put the kale down, and then you put kind of in each corner. You're going to put some apples, some cherries, some pine nuts, and, well, actually, I take that back. I put the pine nuts in a little container. Now that I'm thinking about it. But you guys can keep that separate at the house and throw it in the morning of if you're taking it to work. But we don't do that anymore, so you can just do it. Isn't it crazy the things that this last few weeks have changed what we do? It's quite amazing. So if you saw there, I cut the apples in half, and I do this so quick without thinking about it or talking about it. That's not very nice. Putting something on a flat surface so it doesn't roll around is always going to be easier for you. You can use a paring knife and you can scoop out the center, or I just slice it like that, cuts it out, and you're good to go. Then I take this, you can either go through the mandolin, the larger slice, and it kind of makes big like French fry half cuts, or these apples are cute and small. I'm just gonna cut my halves in half and make wedges out of them. Like that. So, there's that. Pretty easy peasy. All right, we've got 2 more minutes on the oven. Let's get these going. The thing to do if you're watching this now and you're gonna cook later, make sure when you get started with the video that you've got everything washed and your meats are defrosted and your spices are out, and you too can make this as quickly as I do. I think we've decided on a few things for next week, but we're always looking for ideas. So even if you're watching this later, and it's not Wednesday, I guess tomorrow we have to have the menu out. But before tomorrow morning, if you think of something you'd like me to make, put on the menu, let me know. And we'll get that in there. Even if I don't add it till the following week, we'll tag you and say, we're doing your recipe.
Yeah, we're always open for suggestions.
Yep. I'm going to pull these out. Set them over here. And turn this down. Actually, I don't want that. There. 325. I want to cover the chicken. Kind of keep cooking and stay moist. We're gonna do that next. Let's take a peek at how juicy we are. Sorry, did I go out of range? Yeah, we've got a little bit, but let's put a little bit more. The recipe calls for a cup. I would put in a quarter. Let's first start with half a cup. And then we'll go with quarters after that. I'm gonna take it out every 20 minutes and see how we're doing. All right. Smells good. Now, that can be made in a regular pan, as long as it has a lid. You want the lid on there to keep the moisture in. At the end, if we want to get rid of some of the moisture, then we'll open it up, maybe even broil it, just play with that. But to begin with, you want to keep the moisture in. So we've got our stove is hot again, or still, that's as good. We're gonna do the jerk chicken. Let me grab the recipe and go from here. All right, cauliflower rice, avocado oil. Here we go, medium-high stove. And a nice spoon. And I need the coconut milk. done do you want your cauliflower? Kind of crunchy?
Yeah.
Okay. So since we are not going to eat this tonight, or are we going to eat this tonight?
We might.
We might. So we might eat this tonight and might not. It would still have to be something that's reheated. I'm going to cook the vegetables and put coconut milk in and kind of cook it down a little bit to the consistency that I want. And then I'm going to add the cauliflower rice and take it off the burner. So that when we go and reheat it, even if it's in a couple of hours, that the cauliflower rice hasn't turned to mush. So you'll see in the recipe it says if you like it crunchy, add the milk to the onions and peppers first, and then the cauliflower later. So that's what we're gonna do. And I need the onions and peppers. There they are. See this get hot. And 1 cup of coconut milk. Oh, and the pineapple. She got a fresh pineapple, so that's gonna be good. But we're gonna cut it up and we're gonna keep it separate until we reheat it. So if you got canned pineapple, go ahead and add some of that juice. Instead of doing a full cup of coconut milk, I would do 3/4 coconut milk and 1/4 of the pineapple juice. That'll make it yummy.
The enzymes in the pineapple will eat the chicken.
Yeah,
so
they'll
mix
melt
that
the chicken
together.
away. They'll eat anything. So whatever you have pineapple in, it just kind of noshes away it and makes things mushy. All right, I hear my pepper starting to get sizzly. Good. If you do like more gravy, then you could do a full thing of coconut milk and put in the juice and then just cook it down to the consistency you want. That's easy too. And if you don't want to use the coconut rice, you can use regular rice. That will need to steep for a while. So you make your coconut slurry and you add the rice and you let it simmer until the rice is cooked. Basically, we just want the vegetables hot so that when we put in the coconut milk, it's gonna keep getting hotter quicker than if I put it in now. It would be a little bit of time. So then we'll brown the chicken and be good to go. I'm here. There. Does that pan in? Cool. I'm going to put a little salt, bring out flavors. So yummy. I'm going to put another half in because it's barely covering my veggies. So, and this is nice and thick stuff already. If you use a canned one that's got some thick stuff in there, you may not have to cook it down very much. We're going to see what this does. This is my first time making this, so we're practicing together. I'm going to turn on this and get our jerk chicken going. And that's got 15 more minutes. We're good to go. This one. There we go. Put some oil in the pan. This is for the chili. smells so good. I'm excited. You could add coconut milk to this to make it gravy as well. I'm very curious to know how this is going to turn out for you guys. So, do for sure let me know how it goes. And this is our first time doing it, so. You know, another one that we liked doing was the lemon chicken with chicken tenders. That was very good. We'll have to do that again. And salads are coming. I love doing salads. All the fresh vegetables we can get. This is good stuff. Alright, that's almost good. That smells good. So if you were cooking this for dinner, and we're going to be eating it now, you had everything prepped, and by the time these have marinated for half an hour, if you're going to be, I would start the veggies, get this process going, because pan frying these will be pretty easy. We'll stick those in, and then you'll be able to pull them together at the same time and eat a nice hot meal. I'm gonna find. Nope. Do you have a lid for that one?
Yep. Should.
Aha! This one?
Nope.
No?
I think it's the big one.
So.
Maybe not.
It works, but not. Oh, that's okay. We'll make it work. I just want to be able to keep the tops hot. Oh, and here comes our boiling. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Now this is getting hot. Let's use our tongs. A little bit more. Then, really, what am I gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do. Look at this. We're gonna use some coconut milk in here. And we're gonna stir this around. And when the chicken's turned over and it's almost done, I'm going to put this and kind of make a gravy out of it. But make sure if you're adding coconut milk and then you're going to cook this, it has to come to a simmer because it's raw chicken. So if you add to make a gravy in a marinade that raw meat is in, you have to make sure it comes to a simmer so that you cook all the meat juices out of it. Or into it. This should be good. You could even use some of this to go in there, but I'm not going to because I want to taste what this is like without that. So. This is doing well. Come down a bit, and that's going. We're almost done, guys. I'm wondering that if, since the cauliflower rice is a small size, it might have been wiser to chop the pepper up in the Ninja as well. But we'll see how this goes. It'll be nice and chunky. I guess it depends on a preference of yours too. Because we're also going to have the pineapple chunks in this eventually. Alright, that's going. This is going well. And we're just going to cover that for a minute. Get all the heat around it. Don't fall. That's going well. We're going to come back over and finish chopping the apples and the kale for the salads. Alright guys, apples are almost done.
It's so slanted, it's driving me crazy.
Am I on a slant?
You are.
1, 2.
Does not want to stay.
And our apples. So with the kale, we're just going to stack it like this. There's the short pieces from the end and the tall piece, the kind of connected pieces from the tops. I get them all lined up in here. Lining them up takes a little bit of work, but it's worth it to get the kind of thin slicing that you want to make this salad more palatable, more edible, if that makes any sense. So there, got that. I kind of roll the outside one on there and then slice very thin. And at first you're gonna have to go slow to do it. And then you can get faster. But you really, really want it thin. See how that is? It just makes it so much easier to eat.
It's like confetti from an Easter basket.
There you go. It's grass confetti. So, serving is like a nice handful like that. And that's about all the green you need out of that. That's really dense stuff. So I'm going to take this bowl, bring it out again, and then put our kale back in there. Okay, and go to the next thing. And then all of you should have seen the Getting Saucy last Thursday was how to make the dressing for this salad, the apple cider vinaigrette. And the combination is absolutely phenomenal. You'll want to eat more, but you won't be able to because it'll be so full of greens and goodness. So we made this one with monk fruit. I've made it with the little stuff. Oh no, it's perfect. Look at that. It's gonna be so good. I usually make it with coconut sugar, but we're trying the monk fruit this time. So it's really good. Ooh, another how-to we did is blackberry jam with monk fruit and freezer jam. So all we had to do was mix the ingredients and we're put it in the freezer and see how it turns out. There's a video for that coming soon. We're just having so many fun ideas making videos for you guys. If there's something you want to know to make, let us know, and we can, even if it's not in the menu cooking on Monday, then we could make it as a how-to, right?
Yep.
I know we need to do zucchini noodles in a little short. And spaghetti squash. And what else? Okay, the salad is pretty much done. We've got our apples, we've got our kale, pine nuts, tart cherries. These are the ones that I like to get from Costco. They're super yummy. And you keep them in the refrigerator and they stay fresh really well. Take them out a little bit before you're gonna eat the salad so that they warm up to room temperature and they're a little better. Then I use pine nuts, and I usually keep mine in the freezer in glass to help them stay longer as well, because when you buy a big bag at Costco, which is a good deal, you're not going to use it very fast because they are very expensive. So I put the jar in the freezer and it keeps them really well. Okay, let's head back over here. Chicken's looking good. One in the middle, especially. That's the hot spot. Push them all into the middle. There we go. There's good moisture in there. That'll be good gravy. Ooh.
Just water bottle.
Just a water bottle. All right, this is cooked down to about half now. The peppers are still a little crunchy, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and add this. I'm not sure I'm going to add it all because there's a lot of it. That was a nice big head of cauliflower. So look, you're just mixing like this. See how colorful and pretty that is? Okay. It's all mixed in. There's nice smells coming out of that. And since we're going to reheat it, I'm just going to turn it off. That one's this one, this one's that one. There we go. Actually, what I'm going to do is bring this one over to here. Bigger. So we turn that one off, and we turn this one back on. Oh, these are looking good. You know, the recipe said you could use thighs too. Those would be really good, and they'll cook faster. They're not quite as thick. This is what's for dinner, I think, because it smells amazing and I want to have it. Super yummy. I'm going to turn it down to medium so we don't burn it, but get it cooked through. Left before we need to stir our chili. Perfect timing. Quick down. My vacuum cleaner's in the house. I've stuck her.
Slide that over on the granite and not the
This
glass.
way?
Yeah.
Like that? Alright. Looking good. There's still some moisture in the bottom, so we're good to go. Butternut squash, I would say, is probably just heated through now. So a good 20 extra minutes. The next 20 minutes will be great. I love cast iron, but man, they're heavy. We'll do again. 20 and go. And my big thing is leaking water. Oops, this one. This one. This one's kind of thick. Make sure they're cooking well. I'm just going to cut it like this. Dip it in some sauce. Get that going. Notice I pull it over onto another piece of chicken so that I'm not cutting the pan. If I accidentally cut through it, I'm cutting the other piece of chicken. Alright, this one's a lot hotter. This is good stuff. I think I would do that actually. I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to put in this gravy. We're almost done. This includes now the brownings that are in here. They're getting super yummy. Alright, and we're going to bring this up to a simmer so it cooks the juices out of there. Okay, about medium, we're good to go. Throw this in here. Was there, oh, the pineapple. Let's cut the pineapple. Thanks for following me, Pam. Okay, you want to cut the head off and the tail off. There you go. Until you have clear access to cut around here. Just do this. Now this is a lot, so I think I'm going to leave half to the side for us to have as a yummy snack, and we'll do half of it to go into our pineapple. Okay? It's kind of easy to cut it into quarters like that. Turning it out to the side. Then you can cut out the middle, just like the apples. And we'll cut this one more time so they're not overwhelming pieces. And then there we go. That's yummy. This smells really good. There's that one. Okay, that looks good too. I think that will be enough. Pam's getting into the cauliflower right now. Here, add that to it.
It's still a little crunchy.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to reheat it later, so. That's good. Yum?
Yeah, the pineapple.
It passes the judges' thing. Okay, the pineapple stay to the side because we're going to wait until we reheat it to add it. And we've got our apples, everything that goes on the kale salad. Put a bunch of kale in the center of a plate. Put a little, like half a cup of apples, half a cup of chicken, sprinkle of your pine nuts. Put in some tart cherries or cranberries work. Cherries are amazing. And some of the dressing from Getting Saucy on Thursday. And you've got an amazing salad. We've got chili coming out in a few minutes, and let's check on our chicken. This is looking good too. Just what we needed. All right. The way I tell chicken is done is if it's not spongy anymore when you push on it. So this one's, see, these ones are firm because they're thinner, and these ones are now the thick ones, but they're all doing good, and that can just sit there and simmer for a few minutes and get that gravy cooked down, and it will be good to go. And woo, that smells good. We've got just a few minutes left on the chili. Really, you want to just keep turning it, but gently, because once the butternut squash starts to cook, it could go to mush if you turn it too much, and then you kind of have a goulash, which is still good, but you'll have to just be attentive of that. And it's good to go. Guys, that was an hour. We have a few cleanup. Yes, cleanup has to count. So add another hour for that, and the prep before, and this, still, it could have been done in 2 hours. And I know that with time and with a system, you can do it too. And I think we're good to go. Yeah?
All right.
Great. Have a great day. We love you. We'll see you soon.